Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do a January wrap-up. Unfortunately it's not that exciting because I literally just started two different series, so it's just the first and second book in a series, but I hope that months to come it'll get more interesting and like it'll be different books. Next month I do know that I'm not like reading series back to back, so that is going to be different, but anyways, nonetheless we are still gonna film this video, so let's get into it. So the first book I read this month was Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. Gave this a 5 stars. I loved this book so much. I also did a reading vlog on it, so if you guys want to go and watch that, you guys can get more of my thoughts and everything, so I'm not going to discuss it too much because I do have a reading vlog on it. But like I said, gave this 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. This is about Johnny and Shannon goes through so much, so definitely check the trigger warnings because there's a lot of heavy topics, but I'm not going to spoil anything because this is on the back of the book. But Shannon gets bullied at her old school, and then she finally convinces them to let her switch schools. So she switches schools to Toman, and she meets Johnny in an unexpected way. You'll have to read it to find out, but it's crazy, and I just loved following them, and I loved reading about them, and I will forever think about them, and I highly recommend this series, like I've said multiple times, but absolutely loved, 100% would recommend. The next book I read this month was Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This is also in that same video if you guys want to go and watch it and hear my thoughts. So again, I'm not going to talk too much on it, but I gave this book a 4.5 stars. Absolutely loved it. First like little fantasy, I guess you could say. I have read the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy except the last book, but this is kind of just dipping my toes into fantasy, and I'm really excited to start doing that. So like I said, I gave this a 4.5 stars. This is about Iris and Roman, and they both work at this writing corporation, and they're both fighting to get a higher position at the place. In the beginning we find out that Iris's brother goes to the war, and also there's like these two gods like competing against each other, but it's not like hard to understand. Like I understood it completely, and it was very easy to understand. And we also find out that they have these magical typewriters, so that they type letters to each other. It gets sent through it's like a magical door through their wardrobe, which is a closet, and I just thought that was crazy. Iris doesn't know that it's Roman writing her in the beginning, and Roman knows it's Iris because she originally was trying to write to her brother to figure out if he was okay and everything, and that's how Roman knew it was Iris, but Iris never knew it was Roman. But yeah, I enjoyed reading the letters between the two of them. It was just absolutely enjoyable, and I would 100% recommend. This is definitely an easier fantasy to get into, so if you're not looking for something too high stakes or something too confusing, or if you're just now getting into fantasy like myself, I would definitely recommend this. Like I said, this month is not that interesting, and I apologize, but the next book I read this month was Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh, which is the second book in the Boys of Talmud series. I'm not going to speak too much about this because again, it is the second book in the series, so I don't want to spoil anything, but I gave this a 5 stars. I love Johnny and Shannon so much, like I've said multiple times. This book also follows Johnny and Shannon, so I'm not going to speak too much about it, if at all, but again, this follows Johnny and Shannon, and I'm really excited to keep reading this series. The next 2 books I think are about Joey and Aoife, which is Shannon's brother, and I'm just like so excited for this series in general. So like I said, 100% would recommend these 2 books at least. I'm sure I'll recommend this series, but again, 5 stars. Love, love, love. Please check trigger warnings though, because heavy topics are discussed. And the last book I read this month was Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross, which is the second book to Divine Rivals. I absolutely love this. I gave this a 4.75 stars. So close to being a 5 stars. I just didn't get that 5-star feeling. So if I don't get that 5-star feeling, I just don't want to rate it 5 stars. But nonetheless, it was an absolutely amazing book. You pick up right where you left off in the first book, because the first book leaves on a cliffhanger, and if you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. Like I've said, I would definitely recommend these two books. They are so fun, and I just really enjoyed them. I binged them both. The first one I binged a little quicker because it's not as long, but nonetheless, again, like I've said, 100% would recommend reading these books. And yeah, so those are all the books that I read this month. Again, I'm sorry that it's not as interesting. I hope more months to come it'll be a little more interesting, but I would definitely say this month was successful, and I absolutely enjoyed all of these books, and I would 100% recommend them to you guys, and just give them a try. I'm so glad that I gave Binding 13 a try, because now I have came across one of my favorite series ever that I know of right now. We'll see how the other books go, but I hope you guys give these books a try, and I apologize that this month wasn't as interesting, but I'm hoping that months to come it'll be a little more interesting for you guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys when I see you.